Hi guys, AubreyTCG here, and today I'm back with another deck profile. Today I'm showing off what I think to be one of the most fun decks in the current format, Superheavy Spyral. Before we begin, if you could please give a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this type of content and want to see more in the future, it would help support the channel greatly. Without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. Starting off with our main playmaker, 3 of Superheavy Samurai Prodigy Wakaushi. This is not an understatement when I say the card does literally everything for the deck. He is a very important combo starter and represents full combo on his own if you do not get drolled. The card you scale off of Wakaushi is Superheavy Samurai Monk Big Benkei. Unfortunately, Benkei is now retired, can't even attack in defense position, but it shows he's moved on to a better life. He's the scale you place off of Wakaushi in order to search a Superheavy. Speaking of searching, 3 Superheavy Samurai Motorbike. He is a discard to search a Superheavy monster. Very good to have in the graveyard because it's a level 2 tuner, so he can be made into Axel, and then that Axel can be turned into a Baron. 2 Soul Piercer. The card you usually want to grab off of the Benkei. Not a once per turn. If he's sent from field to graveyard, that is a non-once per turn search. 2 Superheavy Samurai Stealthy. Very good extender. If you control no spell traps in your graveyard, you can special summon them from the hand. Has an ability to take an opponent's spell from graveyard and set it but banish it when it leaves the field. Couple of 1-ofs, 1 Scales, 1 Soul Peacemaker, 1 Soul Gaia Booster, and then 1 Wagon as well. These are all here because they're free extenders or revival or summon from deck to get anything going that you want. And they're all easily searchable and pair extremely well with the non-once per turn search effect of Wagon. And that's the Superheavy part of the deck. Represents a fair portion. Now the Spyral portion is going to probably be pretty familiar to anyone who knows Spyral at this point. And it's 3 Spyral Gear Drones. We like stacking the top card of our opponent's deck to make them draw into some bad draw. And more often than not that works. But it's also really great knowledge knowing what your opponent might get. 3 Super Agent. Biggest part of the deck because so many effects need him or double Helix on the field in order to work. Three Spyral Quick Fix, the Fluffy Hair Boy. Adds a Spyral Gear card, has a non-once per turn revival effect if Super Agent's on the field. And this card should not come to 3. It works well with one of the couple spell cards we're playing, which I'll get to in just a minute. Unrelated, but he also is getting a quarter century secret rare in Battles of Legend Monsters Revenge, despite not actually being in the set. And then the last 2, 1 Spyral Sleeper, 1 Spyral Gear Last Resort. Some decks just do not have a way to answer Spyral Sleeper with Last Resorts. And it still represents one of the strongest endboard pieces you can make. Because that quick effect pop 2 while not losing himself because of Last Resort is insane. There are some matchups where it's not as good in, but even if you destroy something like a Mirror Jade, then you can protect him at the very least. Now for the utility cards. You play 1 Ancient Gearbox to search off of a extra deck monster that you probably know already. 1 Infinitrack Tunneler, Deep Draw Engine. To look for, you can either search for extension or another hand trap. There aren't very many hand traps in this build though, because Spyral doesn't typically have room. 1 Therion King Regulus. The Regulusy is real. This card should be on your end board at all times. Very, very important card to have. And is an integral piece to this deck. 1 Singular Ash Blossom. Because it's searchable off of a card in our extra deck that you will see as soon as I get to the trap lineup. Next up for the spells, we aren't playing too many, and we don't particularly want to see too many of them either. 3 Spyral Resort, one of the best field spells in the game. If Master Plan comes back, this card is going to be insane and probably be the best field spell in the game. It's a soft once per turn to add a Spyral monster from deck to hand, as well as it has a maintenance cost of shuffling a monster back into the deck into the main deck from graveyard, or destroying it, and it provides targeting protection to all your Spirals, which means that they can't imperm, Veiler, Ghost Mourner, or target remove any Spirals on your field. One of the best field spells ever printed, probably. 3 Machine Duplication. Card's bonkers. You have actually a few targets for it in the deck, but the only 2 you really want to be machine duping are Quick Fix or drones, and that's in the latter half of your combos. Because that's usually when you're doing your Spyral shenanigans, is in the later half. 2 of the Spyral Mobile. Just a generally good search off a Quick Fix that you're using multiple times, that you're searching multiple times a turn. And because a really good discard or banish outlet for Quick Fix or banish for Sleeper, especially after you've already used one of the effective Big Red. There's only 2 traps. Spyral Gear, Utility Wire, searchable, and it's a discard if you don't keep a Super Agent on board, which you usually do not. And 1 9 Pillars of Yang Zing. New deck, new engines, not cutting Yang Zings out of it quite yet. It actually works really well still, and on top of this, I found it coming up a bit today. I was playing against a Dino player at my local, and he made UTC pass, and he didn't interrupt my plays as I was going through them. So I just made Chow Fang, locked him out of lights, and searched after searching 9 Pillars. Made access code because he now couldn't interrupt my combos, and Sleeper with 2 pops, and went for lethal that turn. And then didn't end up making this game 2, but is just a very useful engine still. Obviously seeing 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing kind of sucks in your opening hand, but other than that, it's an insanely good engine that's insanely easy to access due to the levels of Wakaushi and some of the Spyral monsters, as well as other cards in specifically like Stealthy in the Super Heavy Sam archetypes, so they can just make Danglong and then make Chow Fang lock out lights. And having a searchable Omni Negate is really good. That's it for the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck really quick. Playing a lot of 1-0s, extra space very tight. 1 Double Helix, the life and soul of your Spyral engine. The card that broke him the first time. Very important card. Usually you're making this in the latter half of your combos after pen summoning out some Spyral cards, or or an Earth Machine. 1 Ancient Gear. Ballista searches the box, which can search for Quick Fix, which you can then pen summon the Quick Fix. 1 Platinum Gadget, just for extension if something goes wrong. 1 Appaloosa. This is an integral part of your end board. Usually you're making a 3-mat Appo at the for your end board. 1 Linkaribo, just something to make off of Quick Fix so you can use his stuff before putting him under a 1 Xyz. 1 IP, just in case something went horribly wrong, or to use to make the next card, Nightmare Unicorn. Unicorns is here for off of Masquerena, or to clear boards, make an access code and go for lethal. Access code is here because he's access code, big man, enables lethal very easily if you can get him and sleeper. It's all for the links to get into synchros. We have the Axel Stardust Synchro Dragon. This can be made fairly easily in this archetype. And we'll revive a Super Heavy Samurai Motorbike from the grave to get a free Baron. Speaking of Baron, you are playing Baron, big piece of your end board. Baron is Baron. I don't think that card needs really any introduction or explanation, besides it's broken. 1 Danglong. Danglong is very accessible in this deck because of the ability to put out 4 tuners and level 1s, as well as the abilities to continuously have multiple tuners at any given point in time. 1 Chaofeng. He's usually what you make after Danglong, with Danglong. Locking out lights is very good. This came up against specifically UTC. And being able to search for any tuner upon destruction by 9 pillars is insane because you can search Ash in the branded matchup, which is bonkers. That's all for the synchros. For Xyz, we start off with a Sylvan Princess Sprite. This card's here because it has the chance to extend your plays further, as well as is an Xyz you can make with Quick Fix. So he's not banished when he leaves the field. 1 Gear Gigant X. Card's bonkers, searches for a machine monster, which is really, really good. Level 4 lower. And then our, oh no, things have gone terribly wrong button. Baguska, the Terribly Tired Tapir. Yeah, this is here in case of emergencies. So, because sometimes stuff like Droll happens, sometimes stuff like Shifter happens. And usually in those cases, it's best to sit on Baguska for a couple turns and wait out while you can build your hand up for full combo again. Which there is a lot of ways to full combo in this deck, so you might not even need the 2 turns. That's it for the deck, and overall, I think it's one of the more fun decks in the format, but it's very difficult. It's a very challenging deck with no clear answer as to how it should be deck built. I've considered trying to work in Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax or Borreload Savage Dragon into the deck again. Borreload specifically because he's now 2 negates with the double helix in your graveyard that you're probably linking off, and he's probably very accessible, but I haven't tested with him. And some decks just cannot out IP boosted Avermax. As crazy as that sounds, some decks just cannot get rid of it. And for now, I think this does very well. Extract space is very tight. But I think for now, this is the best way to play it until I found out how to add those other things that I think could advance it a little more. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Thank you very much for watching. And if you like this type of content, please do subscribe. You can also follow me on my Twitter. I will have the handle in the bio because YouTube doesn't like me posting links to external sources. But have a great night and thank you for watching.